This is Real Republican News, and I'm your host, Jason Mariner. I'm not quite sure where to begin except by saying this. If you're watching this video right now, please watch it from start to finish because I'm going to really outline what's actually going on in this country. Okay, I'm going to read between the lines for you, and I'm going to reveal some things that you may not have known. And if it gets through, it might just help us save this country. Because if you don't think that we've lost America, guess again. America has fallen. America is the Constitution. The Constitution ensures us the ability to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. The Constitution was not made to be followed partially or conveniently or when we want to. It's not meant to be picked apart and we decide which parts of it we want to abide by and which parts we don't. The Constitution is meant to be followed from start to finish. And if it needs to be amended, it needs to be voted upon. And there needs to be a legitimate need and reason for it to be amended. Okay, that's not being done anymore. Okay. That was evident during the election. Electoral officials in states like Pennsylvania changed the rules pertaining to election midway through the game without taking it to a vote. Okay, that's illegal constitutionally on so many levels. So is impeaching President Trump. The Constitution only applies to a president. Impeachment does anyway. Constitutionally only applies to a president in office. President Trump is not in office, making impeachment non-applicable. The end of story. There's like literally no argument there, yet we're still playing this charade. All it's doing is weakening the country even further. It's pissing off 150 million Americans, and it's making another 150 million Americans like say, oh, great, we got them, ha, revenge time. No, it's not revenge time. Since when is America about revenge time? Your guy that you didn't like so much is gone. Isn't what you want healing, unity, all this crap that we've heard that you've been fighting for? Well, apparently not, since you're still doing the fighting. We see what's going on in the Pacific Northwest. Antifa destroying the Democratic headquarters. Go figure, they want anarchy and nothing else. They're just opportunists who want to make trouble. I invite you to make trouble with me, Antifa. It won't go well for you. I promise you that. Okay? The other thing that a lot of people are not seeing is, since our electoral process was messed with, we wind up with a leader who can't form a coherent sentence. The guy enters office, and on day one, he eliminates a little over 20,000 jobs. Why would you eliminate 20,000 jobs from an economy that needs it, from an American people that need those jobs? Because we've suffered through a year of a pandemic. People have lost jobs, they've lost their houses, they've lost their families. I could go on and on about things that people have lost over the past year. But it's been bad. Jobs and money are what's needed most right now. Why would you take that away? Not understanding that for 1 second. Especially, why would you take away jobs that make America more energy independent? When you do that, you're shipping oil production back over to the Middle East. Don't tell me for 1 second that it's because of this Green New Deal nonsense or pollution. Because the people that you're handing the job over to care a lot less about pollution than Americans and Canadians, guaranteed. Fact check it all you want. They don't give a damn over in the Middle East what goes into the ground and earth that you say you care so much about. You're also going to start shipping steel production back over to China. Ever look at the coast of China? All it is smog. You know why? They don't care about the environment. Well, you're going to give them more things to produce to further pollute the environment. The lies are starting to unravel. People aren't stupid. We're starting to see them. People also are onto the fact that, well, racism isn't really that huge of an issue for that many people in America right now. I'm not saying racism isn't bad or it doesn't exist, because it does exist, and it is bad. But you know where it mainly exists? In politics. Yeah, that's where it's coming from. It's coming from our political leaders saying that things are done because of people's whiteness. That's a racist thing to do. And racism creates division. So, I'm the guy that says, well, wait a second. If you say you want unity and you talk about racism, which we all know is divisive, you don't really mean what you say you want. You're really trying to broaden the gap between the American people and use us against one another like you have for so long. We are not dogs in a fighting match. We are people that can think for ourselves. We are people that are starting to catch on to the big lie. Then you team up with big tech in Silicon Valley and the media, and you force a singular narrative down the throats of the American people. Don't think also for 1 second that big tech and the media wasn't one of the biggest interferers and players in the results of this last election. Okay? That's called domestic interference. Yes, there was probably foreign interference, although we haven't proven it because the case just simply hasn't received any due process whatsoever. Our grievances haven't been heard because, like I said before, our Constitution is not being followed. Okay? If you want to argue with me about that, I can point out about 15 places where our Constitution is being violated right this very minute. So, President Biden, with all of your Catholicism, tell me how you support abortion. What is your stance on abortion now? Because I know things flip-flop quite frequently for you. As a good Catholic, what's your position on that? As a good Catholic, what's your position on taking civil liberties? Remember that we're God-given. Why would you start tampering with them? If you're so devout in your faith, why would you preach unity but create division? If you want to heal America so bad, why would you strip tens of thousands from jobs that they desperately need to feed their children and ship them overseas? If you care about America, why would you take industry from us and give it to countries that are not friendly to us? The second you entered office, look at what communist China's doing. They're doing exercises over Taiwan. They're already flexing their muscle. I don't give Taiwan more than 6 months before they're invaded and taken over because it wouldn't have happened during the last administration. We wouldn't have allowed it. This guy's going to do nothing about it. Israel, we love you. We don't know what's going to happen, other than the fact that this new administration will not defend you when you're attacked. They won't even defend their own people at this point. The only people that they want to defend are themselves. They don't even want to defend their Democratic supporters. They want to keep them controlled. I've got news for you folks. You'll see this. These mask mandates and these shutdowns, they're not going away. Because you know what that does? It creates an even further demand for government dependency. You're enhancing the necessity for people to be dependent on the government. Now, the only reason you would want to do that is to, again, broaden your voter base and ensure that you remain in power forever and ever. Now, the danger to that is this. If Democrats remain in power forever and ever, the country will continue to fall into poverty. The rich will get richer, the poor will get poorer. The classes will be two. The absolute lower class, the dregs of the earth, financially, and then the elite, which makes up about, 0.11 millionth of a percentage of America. I don't know. The number is so small. You get the point. You want to be kings and queens. We want to be free people. We want a government by the people, for the people, like it should have been, like it always has been. You want a government by you because you said so, and all that kind of stuff. Well, I've got news for you. Half of America does not accept that. Half of America is coming to you with petitions and grievances. Half of America is going to insist that they be heard, and half of America is not going away. Real Republican news, I, myself, am almost finished with a petition. That petition, we're going to start with first things first like our founding fathers did, and that's we're going to cover and protect the First Amendment. And we are going to make sure that Americans' right to free speech is restored. We're going to make sure that you get to say what you want to say when you want to say it, even if it disagrees with the opinions of Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey or Jeff Bezos. That's what we're going to tackle first, is the breakup of these big monopolies. Then we're going to tackle everything else in order, step by step. But along the way, we're not going to let you forget about things like, what about Epstein? Why did everybody forget about him so quickly? How come all of these people that surround that whole Epstein, Obama, Clinton group, why do they all wind up killing themselves by shooting themselves in the back of the head while simultaneously hanging themselves and then sticking butcher knives in the back of themselves? I just don't see how that happens. Tendons are cut so deep on both arms that you literally couldn't do it to the other arm physically. Look at Epstein, for example. You would never have injuries like that from, number one, hanging yourself in a jail cell, and number two, you wouldn't be able to do it in the first place. Have you ever been in a jail cell? I have. I'll tell you this right now. It's impossible to hang yourself the way he did, or the way they say he did. That man did not hang himself. He was killed. Okay? But more importantly, what about the little girls and boys that were stolen? Who knows what happened to them? Who were they? What were their names? Where did they come from? Where are their families? What happened to them? What was Epstein doing on that island? What were the tunnels for? Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton. Why were you all involved with that man? A pedophile that had to kill himself because what he had done was so terrible. Well, what he was probably about to do was be liable to speak and spill the beans. That's what I think was going to happen. Why have we forgotten about Benghazi, Hillary, where you left Americans to die? I don't know why America forgets so quickly. Well, I kind of do. And it's because every time something like this starts to happen, their leftist buddies in the media start pushing a completely different narrative, totally distracting everybody from what actually previously happened. Stop getting distracted, America. Stop getting distracted from your Constitution. Stop letting the politicians pull the wool over your eyes. Stop letting them make us fight amongst one another. You know, when this country was started, when the Revolutionary War was started, people of all color fought for that war. Black and white freed this country. They literally picked up guns together and shot the British because they were sick and tired of being pushed around, told what to do. They paid taxes for no reason. They weren't represented. They didn't do anything for them except push them around. Well, I'm feeling a little bit pushed around these days. You can come after me digitally, physically. Doesn't really matter to me. Because whatever you do, I will know that I am fighting for the will of God and that I am fighting for the underdog, the people. People. You, me, the people that I don't agree with. Everyone in America that's supposed to be here, that got here legally, American citizens. I'll give it all up for them. Because if people aren't ready to do that, they'll be able to take it from us in the blink of an eye. I happen to have more faith in my American man and woman than that. And I do believe that the silent majority will remain silent no longer, get behind the cause, and take this country back before it's too late. So, let's start reading between the lines. Let's stop forgetting. The petition that I'm writing up will be available for your signature and support, hopefully by the end of today, but likely tomorrow, which will make it the 26th or 27th, I'd say, of January. But it's going to be up. You'll be able to sign it. You'll be able to get behind the cause. You'll be able to start to do your part to effect change, to ensure our freedom, to restore our Constitution and law and order to this country. Let's also not forget about Hunter Biden and all of his criminal dealings. There's proof out there. Proof. Irrefutable evidence. Let's have it heard in a court. President Biden, stop shielding your son from the consequences of his actions. It sets a very bad example for the American people. And by the way, while we're talking about the American people, you will simply not get rid of us. You're not going to kill us off. We're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to continue to push us around and strip us of our rights, because here we come. We're biting back. You've pushed us too far into a corner. We're pushing back now. Get behind the cause. Sign the petition. Email us. Get in touch with us. We're creating a discussion board too. Remember that. You'll be able to have another place now where you can go if you're a conservative and you won't be bothered. We will keep your word and your free speech safe to the best of our abilities. And when they kick us off of whatever might be hosting it, we'll build our own. We will not stop until you have your freedoms back. End of story. It's pretty plain and simple to me. I hope it is to you too. With that said, until next time, I ask that God watch over you, your families, those around you. Please restore this Constitution and law and order in this country. And allow Americans to wake up tomorrow morning brave, firm in their resolve, and strong in their conviction to take this country back with your grace, with your power, just like our founding fathers did. Until next time, I'm Jason Mariner, your host here at Real Republican News. Be well, everyone.